Hey everybody, Will from 1 Kilo Weightlifting. One of the most frustrating things in weightlifting is almost having a snatch locked out and then missing it forward. And I'm gonna tell you the 4 reasons that might happen and 4 ways to fix that. And that's coming up right now. Hey everybody, glad you're here. If it's your first time here, please like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you know every single time I come out with a new video. Every weightlifter knows the frustration. I personally know it too, where you pull the bar high enough, you put everything into it, and it's almost locked out, but then it tumbles down just in front of you and you missed another snatch forward. It was one of the most frustrating things to me when I was a lifter, that it was almost there, but I just couldn't finish that lift. When we talk about missing a snatch forward, they're always talking about an error in the balance of the athlete. I have, for as long as I've coached, preached a whole foot, whole time, center of balance strategy. So keeping that balance across the entire foot, the entire time, the athlete's pulling until the very finish when they might finish on their toes. But missing a snatch forward means that at some point in that system, the bar has moved too far forward on the athlete. There are 3 common results in a snatch. 1 is a make. That's what we're after. Yay! Number 2 is a miss behind. A little less common, and if you do commonly miss behind, pay attention to this video coming up, because a lot of the causes of a miss forward are also a cause of a miss behind. And 3rd is a miss forward. There are 4 common reasons to miss forward, and I'm gonna show you right after this the 4 common reasons and 4 ways to fix it. First time an athlete can let their balance shift too far forward is right off the floor. So this is the first place that we can have an error. The athlete comes off the floor and one of 2 things will happen. Their heels will come up off of the floor and their weight will be too far on their toes, or the bar will swing kind of out and it can't even pull their chest down. So that error, getting pulled off the floor, commonly seen by heels coming off the ground or chest dipping as they leave the ground, is the first place that an athlete can begin to miss a snatch forward. The best way to fix an error in balance at the start is a snatch with a pause at 1 inch. So what we're gonna have the athlete do is get set up in a normal starting position. As they begin to make their pull, they're gonna pause at 1 inch or lift off, just barely off the floor. They're gonna work on keeping that chest up and that balance across their whole foot. This is an incredible drill to fix errors in balance at the beginning of the lift. As a bonus, you can make an athlete do a snatch from a deficit with a pause at 1 inch. And so what we're thinking about is elevating the athlete 1 to 1.5 inches, just slightly. And then as soon as they leave the ground, they're gonna pause again. This is almost pausing to feel the balance of the original start position if they weren't on a deficit. These are great drills to fix balance at the very start of the lift. As we work up the chain, the second place that an athlete can have an error in balance, it's gonna cause them to miss a snatch forward, is at the knee. So what we're commonly gonna see is as the athlete pulls, they're going to loop around the knee, the bar is gonna make a forward path, and as they pass the knee, they're gonna have shins that are not vertical, but forward. We want vertical shins with balance, and athletes who loop around the knee, have an error too far forward around the knee, will have a forward shin angle as they pass. And usually what's happening is the athlete's pulling up early on their torso position and opening early. They're being impatient around the knee. And so what we're gonna see is shin angle that's forward. And then because of that, the bar is gonna be forward later in the lift and they're gonna have a miss forward. To fix an error of balance around the knee where the athlete has gone too far forward, we're gonna use one of my favorite drills in the whole wide world. We're gonna use a double pump or a triple pump snatch. And so what we're gonna see here is the athlete's gonna pull past the knee. That's a pump as we lower back below the knee, past the knee, below the knee, and then finish. So a pump is just a pulse to where the athlete passes the knee, almost gets it mid-thigh, they're staying over. We're just working on the leg action where the legs, the knees move back as the athlete pushes down and their torso stays consistent. So we're not opening, we're getting a very concerted effort to just use the legs in this middle portion of the lift. So we can do a double pump or snatch with 2 pumps, or a triple pump, snatch with 3 pumps. Some people have taken this and changed it and given it their own name, but don't let them fool you. The original name is a double pump snatch or a triple pump snatch. The third place where you may see an error in balance for the athlete is at the hip. So what will commonly happen is that the athlete, as they make that pass through the knee, they could be in great position, but again, they get antsy, they don't continue to pull the bar back, and they chase it forward with their hips. I tend to say that they're chasing because they're bringing the hips to the bar instead of the bar to the hips. And you'll see them getting high on their toes as the bar is into that hip crease. That's not putting the bar on the correct path. The bar is going to be forward. We could have a miss forward. So the third spot is at the hip, where the athlete chases it with their hips. So to correct this error at the hips, what we're going to do is we're going to have the athlete do a snatch pull with toes off. So they're going to be standing on a slight deficit, 1 inch or so, and we're going to have the athlete pull with a third or half of their foot off of that so that they can feel what it's like to balance across the middle of their foot and not get too far to their toes. Obviously, this is a self-limiting exercise. If the athlete were to start chasing with their toes, they would feel themselves come off of the mat. So what we want to do is teach them to push through their whole middle of their foot. And so we're going to do that by taking their toes and putting them off of a slight deficit. All reps after the first one will be done in a floating style where they don't all the way return to the ground. So try that one. That one's going to fix that hip position every time. The final spot where an athlete may have an error in balance, which leads to a miss forward, is in the turnover phase. So they could have done almost everything correctly all the way. They could have great balance off the floor, great balance at the knee, great balance at the hip, and then their hands get away from them at the top. Sometimes athletes keep their elbows too straight, or sometimes they lean back and throw the bar out away from them at the top. So what we are going to do is a quick little complex where we're going to do a high pull from the hang position from above the knee. You can do it from the floor, but in this case, I'm going to choose to do it from the hang above the knee. We're going to feel that bar slide up the thighs, elbows finish high and tall above the bar. And then we're going to go right into a snatch from the hip or a dip snatch where we're working on that vertical torso, driving with the legs, elbows going high, and the athlete finishing as they turn over. This is a great complex. I think it's a really great complex to use in a warm-up, and especially if that athlete has an error in balance where the bar gets away as they turn it over. Hope you guys enjoyed that model in the last video about the snatch complex. But really, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys got some good tips on how to fix your snatch so you're not missing it forward. Again, please like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell, and I'll see you here next week.